Hello to everybody, and thank you to AFRILEX and the organizing committee for accepting this joint paper. The topic of the presentation is the dictionaries integrated in English learning apps. And it has been co-authored with Fang Huang from the Center for Lexicographical Studies at Guangdong University of Foreign Studies in China. And it's based upon a joint article which we published in Lexicos a few weeks ago. Now, what we have seen for the last years is that the lexicographical products of different types are increasingly incorporated in different digital devices. However, to our understanding, this incorporation has so far not been optimal due to a number of negative phenomena. In this paper, we'll look at the Kalyan OpenLanguage app and the dictionary integrated in this app, which is used by Chinese learners of English. These L2 learning apps are getting increasingly popular, and they normally include one or two dictionaries that can improve the service, but also make it unnecessary for the user to leave the app when they consult something. When they have problems, words they don't know, or they're uncertain about, or so on, they can just go to the integrated dictionary by simply touching or clicking on a word and doing nothing else. This app, which we're analyzing, is a very popular one in China, and it's under continuous development. And some of the slides will show they'll probably be changed since then, because we have observed the changes. But anyway, we'll discuss what we have researched. The main course in the app has different virtual classes, and each class they have 4 different parts. And there are a lot of audiovisual options like interactive video, podcasts, and so on, within the philosophy which the Chinese currently calls the media converge age. This specific learning app incorporates 2 dictionaries: the concise dictionary, English, Chinese, and English, and the Oxford English Chinese dictionary. There's no more information, and we have not been able to know anything more about these 2 dictionaries. In any case, the concise dictionary functions as a default dictionary, can be activated directly from the course text and also from the front page, whereas the Oxford dictionary is some sort of safety nets that can only be activated from the other dictionary. In this respect, it's important to distinguish between what we call embedded and integrated dictionary. Embedded dictionary, they actually function as any other digital dictionary placed in a dictionary app or online portal, where users have to leave the text they're working with and open a dictionary or app and enter a word or a word string in a search box. Integrated dictionary, by contrast, they can be activated directly from the course text, simply touching or clicking on a word, without the learners having to leave the text and moving the focus, and that is important, without moving the focus to the consultation. Here we see a pop-up window. We see the text down here, and we have clicked on the word thought, and then we have the lemma, we have the pronunciation, we have some equivalents, we have a reference to canonical form, think, and we have what we call a signifier, when we can access the whole article if we want. Here we see a dictionary activated from the front page, and in this case it's the Oxford dictionary that has been opened, but there's also the concise, and we can actually swift between the 2 dictionaries. And this has been activated, as I said, from the front page. Now, of course, this app includes a lot of good things, but we have decided to focus on some of the things we think can be improved, because we think that they are general for other similar devices involving lexicography. And we also think that in this aspect, lexicography is coming close to major technological breakthroughs. So therefore, it's necessary to discuss the problems, to place lexicography in a better position to solve these challenges. We have found a number of differences and problems in the dictionaries, both of them. Inconsistent treatment of words, multi-word units and senses, data overload or information overload, difficult access to the data, inconvenient location of the pop-up window. And all these differences may impact negatively on the learner's motivation and the learning process in general. They can be traced to the database that sustained the dictionaries, the underlying programming, and the design of the user interfaces that filter the data offered to the users. There are three main types of problem. The database does not contain all words, multi-word units, and senses that appear in the context, leaving the users without response. And even when it's stored in the database, sometimes it's not uploaded to the user face. And at the same time, various senses a part of speech are assigned to a specific word and visualized simultaneously in the user interface, creating this phenomenon of data overload. These are the three main types of problem. And we'll now look at them and try to find alternative solutions. There are a lot of multi-word units appearing in the course text, and you can see some of them here, and they cannot be consulted from the app in not one or the other way. It also happened with many compounds like hit and miss and startup and so on, whereas other compounds and multi-word units like, for example, cord cutting can be consulted. There's no consequence here. Here we see a multi-word compound that had been actually accessed, but we see that there's a wrong part of speech. Put to good use is here a noun. Then we have the problem that the right sense appearing in the context is not explained in the default pop-up window. We see it here with bots. There's nothing to do with bots in this context. We also see that the right sense has not been uploaded from the database. It's actually there. We see chunk here. There's nothing about chunk in this context. Then we can see the whole article. It's more or less the same. There's nothing there. And then we can consult it from the front page and go to the Oxford Dictionary. And there we finally find that the right sense is actually defined in one of the dictionary, but it takes a long trip to come and find it for the user. It's not convenient. Then we have that relevant items are not uploaded from the database. For example, we can find some words in the front page, but not directly in the course text. We take geeks with small letters. It is explained in the course text as not very accessible because it's mostly made by geeks for geeks. However, when you click on geeks, you get the message in the course text. There's no explanation for the moment. Well, that means that sometime it will come. However, if we go to the front page and consult it, then we'll get geeks, but with capital letters. And geeks and geeks are two different words with different spelling, grammar, and meaning, as we see here. So it is not the relevant, the right one that had been uploaded. And this is a problem that is related to the underlying programming of the learning app. Because an appropriate design would refer the users directly to the article geek, maybe explaining that geeks is the plural form of geek. Now we see the problem of data overload, and it is the last problem we'll discuss in this way. The word set, we don't understand, we'll click on it and we'll get this article default. We see that there are various parts of speech, verb, noun, And if we click on the signifier, go to the whole article, we'll get also the adjective, because said is a very complex word. And this is very typical. It's really, really disturbing, this kind of data overload. We have to find a solution, because the only relevant data in the concrete context is there. You have my word on it, it's in Chinese. And the rest is irrelevant. Therefore, we have to do something about it. Let's see. What we're going to do is this. We click on set and up comes this, nothing more. There are three things. There's a short definition, the right one, the relevant one. There's a speaker's icon where you can listen to it because that's interesting for learners, especially Chinese learners of English. And there's a signifier, a well-known one, where you can go to see more, the whole thing, as we saw it before. This is the proposal we have. And we will also argue how it can actually be achieved with the current technology. You see, this is what we have there. And we also see what we don't have. There's no lemma, there's no part of speech, there's no inflectional data and other senses. They're not relevant here. But of course, if the users want to know it, they can click on the signifier and go and see it. This is what they're going, and that allows what we call incidental learning in a lexicographic perspective. Now, what is the underlying philosophy? Is that we have to minimize the lexicographical data presented to the users at first hand. And all irrelevant data should be excluded to prevent data overload and negative phenomena like user frustration and abortive consultation. The whole idea is to avoid a consultation process that takes time, disturbs the learner's working flow, and moves their focus from reading to consultation, thus hampering the whole learning process. That is the overall idea. And the method applied is data filtering, and this implies that the database contains the required lexicographical data. Everything should be there, everything should be stored there. And the user phases actually upload the relevant data from the database and offer them in what we call carefully measured doses to meet the specific needs in each case, nothing else. And as I said, it can be achieved with current techniques because of one difference between learning apps and other text like digital text like those in e-readers or on the internet. They have a limited amount of text and words. And in this respect, we'll incorporate what we call human-assisted intelligence, because artificial intelligence is nice and so on, but basically it's stupid and it cannot solve all our problems. So we'll incorporate this human-assisted intelligence to assure that the dictionary always knows the specific meaning of lexical units appearing in a concrete context. How can we do that? Yeah, we'll have a language expert, a really good one. We'll go through and read the text and click on the relevant lexical units, one word or multi-word units in the course text. Activate the dictionary, the pop-up window, and so on. And then mark the right meaning. If it's there, if it's not there, send it to the lexicographers. And this information, by means of a simple program, which is very easy to write actually, is automatically recorded. So that when learners, after that, they click on the lexical unit, then the pop-up window will only display the lexicographical data that was marked by the expert. I mean the specific meaning units. And so they can help them understand the text here. And in this way, the dictionary becomes what we call context aware. It's a term from information science. And it is what we consider the first step towards a genuine intelligent dictionary. Now, the method is also highly productive. We expect a well-trained expert to be able to mark 2 or 3 units per minute. It's also economical because it's very cheap and easy to write the program. And over the long term, it could be supplemented by user feedback, and in all this will greatly improve the quality of the learning app. Now, we have previously seen cases where single words, multi-root words, and specific senses were missing in the database, although they occurred in the course text. When the language expert discovered such omissions, they should be marked and sent to the lexicographers, and if there is no hurry, they can actually be ready and activated within 24 hours. But of course, this requires a very, very close interdisciplinary collaboration between all stakeholders. And this is the conclusion of our paper, that we have to engage in genuine interdisciplinary collaboration with other experts, language teachers, lexicographers, information engineers, and designers. That is the message for the future. Thank you so much, and I will also greet you from the team at the Guangdong University of Foreign Studies. Thank you.